Welcome back to the show, everyone. Let's talk about the rising cost of retirement. I know it's not a fun topic, but here to tell us more, we welcome Jerry Schlutzwitz with Pacific Financial Planners.
Thanks for having me, Bree.
Well, thanks for coming.
Appreciate you taking your time this morning to talk about something that not a lot of people like to talk about, but
you know what,
it's
Jerry?
a reality we all got to face.
And we appreciate you coming in to talk about this, because I think the more clarification that you can offer the viewers, the better off they are.
Yeah, I think people really misunderstand this topic, that it's just not the cost of retirement, but the rising cost of retirement. And there's a lot of reasons for it, and it's mostly, good reasons. People are living longer, right?
True.
It used to be 10 to 15 years, and now it's, 20 to 25 years, even 30 years. And what happens as you live longer? Well, you're going to have more healthcare costs. And we all got to see the doctor. Well, guess what? More problems can happen as well. And there's more inflation, higher, cost of living. You got to pay more taxes. So, along with the good comes the bad.
Right, exactly. So what are the biggest risks that retirees are facing? You mentioned a couple there, but...
Well, it's kind of like, people retire, they think they've got enough money, and they say, okay, I spend, whatever it is, $65,000, $80,000 a year. Some are higher here in California. But the national average, that's about where we are nationally in the average there. And they think they have enough. But there's three thieves that come into our lives. And the first is healthcare. We don't know about our health, but it's estimated that a couple today is going to need somewhere between $350,000 and $400,000 between the day they retire and the day they pass, between co-pays and supplemental costs and things that aren't covered, et cetera, just for healthcare. And then taxes, the same thing. If you're withdrawing, let's say, your money, you get your Social Security and you're drawing from your IRAs and things like that because you're forced to, they're estimating somewhere between $350,000 and $500,000 for healthcare or for taxes.
Wow.
And the third thief is the one that we call the silent killer, and that's inflation. At just a 3% inflation rate, which is your 100-year, going back 100 years, that's your average inflation rate. It means that your cost of retirement, let's say $65,000 for 20 years, that's like $1.25 million, is really going to be $2.6 million, which means the inflation cost is higher than today's cost of retirement over your next 20, 25 years. So it's crazy how much cost there is in the future. And people don't realize that they're winging their retirement. They're not prepared for these things. And some people, unfortunately, are going to be in trouble.
But Jerry, what do they do? I mean, how do they protect themselves against these risks?
Well, you got to plan for it. And part of the plan is what I call the bucket approach here. And what that is you've got to have a strategy that covers your income for today. A lot of people take their money and they think it's just one big pile of money. 100% of my money is in one bucket. What we do is we try to say, okay, look, let's try to cover your income for today. You've got Social Security coming in as well. That offsets some of your cost. So your Social Security is your base contractual income, and then you start drawing from your assets unless you have a pension to cover as well. But if you don't, you need this income bucket. Then you need a liquid bucket. Well, what if your car breaks down or you need a new car, if you want to go on vacation or whatever it is that you want to do that might be a bigger expense. So that's a liquid bucket where you can have access to chunks of money should you need it. And then this last bucket, which is mostly overlooked, is what's called a replacement bucket. Now, some people might think they have a replacement bucket and they have money in the stock market. Well, that's supposed to grow over time. But what if it doesn't? I mean, we've had 10, 15, 20-year periods of time where the market has gone down for that period of time. So you've got to have something that's safe, like laddered bonds. You can use fixed rate annuities or index annuities. There are things out there that will have a guarantee no loss provision to grow your money. And if you don't do that, you could be planning for disaster by not having a plan at all.
Is it ever too late to make that change?
Well, you only get one shot at retirement. You want to get it right, but no matter where you are on that retirement model, you want to make sure that you have enough. To put your head in the sand and say, I don't know, and that's what causes stress and worry. Look, 65% of retirees worry about running out of money. They fear running out of money more than death itself.
Wow.
So the better thing is to know, and then that way there you can start taking corrective action today, whether you're 65, 75, or even 85. It's better to know where you are.
I would Absolutely agree with that. Let's go back to the healthcare costs. You mentioned here 70% of people will need healthcare help.
Well, long-term care, yeah, healthcare, is it rising costs? Because that's rising. The inflation rate I was given 3%. Your healthcare costs are rising at 5 to 6% per year. And so far, nobody's doing anything about it. And what I mean by that is, any administration over the last few decades. But what is the big unknown is this long-term care. Now, yes, you could buy insurance for it. If you're older, it's too late, but you should plan for it. You should know what assets you're going to use to pay for the long-term care should you need it. And there are assets that allow you to have guaranteed growth and to be able to take income out or all your money out to pay for a long-term care solution. Having a plan or a strategy is much better. And some people say, well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Yeah, but you may not be mentally cognitive enough.
Right.
You don't necessarily go into long-term care just through aging. Sometimes it's a traumatic event, car accident, a fall, you break your hip, and you're worried about your health and life as opposed to your money. Now, someone else is going to have to make those decisions for you. If you come up with a strategy and a plan, that's how it works best. So you need to have some sort of a checklist. You need to kind of figure out, here's all the different things. Here's what I need for income. And it's a real, what do you spend? It's not like putting you on a budget and saying you got to spend less. What do you actually spend? And where are the sources to get it? How would you pay for long-term care? What are you going to do about future cost of inflation should you live, too long, which we all want to do.
Exactly.
So that's how you do it. You plan, Bree. That's the real thing. And a lot of people don't work with a financial advisor. They think they could do it themselves. I've been doing this for almost 4 decades. I've been here in the village since the 80s. I can help people really come up with a better solution.
I've asked you this before because I think it's a good question. What if people are just embarrassed that they don't think that they are where they should be financially? Maybe they've made some mistakes in life. Maybe they haven't been, as acute as they should be, preparing for the future. They want to come see you, but they're a little bit shy about it.
Yeah, I understand that. It's a hard decision, but look, anyone could deliver a baby. I'm sure I could if I had to. I don't think that's a good idea, right? So am I embarrassed that I don't know how to deliver a baby or I don't know how to do heart surgery? But yet you have professionals in that industry that you go to help. And usually what happens, let's say it's heart, it's something real serious, right? Do you just say, okay, we got to cut you open? No, you go get a second opinion. A perfect example, my wife has actually a brain tumor, all right? And it's benign and it's not growing. And the first guy said he wanted to cut her open and take it out. Wow. What did we do? We went and got a second opinion. So when people are nervous about it, then you are okay, getting that second opinion and just saying, okay, who's got my best interests in mind and what should I do? Right. But it's not embarrassing to not know about finance. They don't teach this anywhere.
Right.
That's why we do the financial forum.
Yes. And that is remind me, Thursday?
Second Thursday of the month, which is this Thursday, July 10th, 3 to 5, Clubhouse 7. We're going to talk about this, the rising cost of retirement. We're going to talk about all these different issues. And it is a group discussion as well. So you learn not only from me, but from your peers as well.
Right, because probably somebody else is asking the same question that you have, right?
Asking or have gone through it and have had some experience with it and can give perspective from what they've seen.
Right, okay. Wonderful, Jerry. Wow, super important topic. I know it's not exactly easy to get through, but 20 seconds. First step to avoid running out of money.
Well, I have a plan. That's the most important thing. If you don't have a plan, then you possibly can, and then you're just going to worry about it. Better to know.
Well, and then stress causes healthcare issues as well.
Worse than not knowing. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you again. I appreciate you being here with us, Jerry.
All right. Thanks for having me, Pri. See you again.
Always good things to talk about. All right, folks, when we come back, Hoag Medical Center will be with us talking about cardiac and vascular health. So stay with us.